Hi there, my name is Cassandra Cannon. I am a licensed clinical psychologist, and I am also an APA approved sponsor to provide continuing education courses. And a recent CE course that I just launched is the Efficacy, Laws, and Ethics of Telehealth. So if you need to squeeze in a couple extra continuing education credits before your licensure renewal, there's two right here for you. I hope it's interesting to you. Like many of you, I made the pivot to online therapy in the pandemic, and I found that I actually really enjoyed it and preferred it. And now I've been doing telehealth only since July of 2021. It's important, though, that there are a lot of different considerations that you need to take into account as you offer therapy via telehealth. And APA actually released some proposed guidelines for telehealth competency in 2024. And I'm going to review some of those with you. And I want to make sure I'm not pulling up the wrong screen. Here we go. So, a major competency is psychologist competence. So, are you aware of the research of the efficacy for telehealth? And are you aware of the different types of safety planning and advocacy that you need to engage in for telehealth? Do you have technical competencies in how do you troubleshoot when it comes to technology failure, power outages, um, protecting digital privacy? Another competency is ethical, legal, and administrative considerations. So that's informed consent. Did you know that you need to have a specific, not need, but it's highly recommended. And I think in some states, it's actually legally required that you have a separate informed consent for telehealth treatment. And I do have a checklist. I think it's a free download for the informed consent for telehealth that you can download and audit yourself. Are you familiar with the different types of data security and how you manage that? Do you know how to appropriately dispose personal health information, including software and devices? Do you know the best practices when it comes to telehealth versus in-person treatment? Do you know where your client is located during your sessions? Do you understand the jurisprudence of that? And do you understand that federal law does not trump state law? And state law is more strict, which means you need to be following that because that is a fact that whichever law is stricter is what you follow. In this case, it's typically state. Are you familiar with emerging technologies and how are you addressing that? There's a couple things for you to ask yourself as you are engaging in telehealth. All of these are included in the CE course. We do spend quite a bit of time discussing the efficacy of telehealth. And I will just share with you now that overall research is showing, and it's just through meta-analyses, that overall telehealth treatment for mental and behavioral health is showing that it is just as effective and in many cases even more effective than in person. And so that you can relax knowing that you can say to your clients with confidence, it is just as impactful as research is currently demonstrating. And it's also shown to be very, very solid with depression and anxiety. Also, what we're seeing in research is individuals engaging in substance use treatment tend to actually prefer telehealth because they feel like there's more privacy and less stigma. Something that research is showing is when it comes to PTSD and engaging in prolonged exposure, it's showing that you don't want to do that. in telehealth treatment, that there actually could be possibly harm with prolonged exposure. But we're also seeing research that shows that EMDR via telehealth is also very efficacious. We don't do prolonged exposure in EMDR. So, if you would like a little bit more information about the specific research when it comes to telehealth, the impact of symptoms on diagnoses, levels of care, outpatient versus residential, what the research says on that, along with what research says on connection and alliance and satisfaction, I encourage you to enroll in my CE course. That course also goes through informed consent considerations, jurisprudence, as well as how you safely um, engage in telehealth treatment, particularly when it comes to privacy and protecting your client's privacy. So I hope that you found even just this little blurb a little bit helpful. If just even you're curious if telehealth is even impactful when it comes to client symptomology, it is. We know that it is. Anyways, thank you.